Hello, you're watching Shalom World News. I'm Donna Villa coming to you from Chicago, USA. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. St. Peter's Basilica turned into a sea of young believers on Monday, April 18th, when around 80,000 teenagers from all over Italy thronged the venue as part of a pilgrimage. Addressing the children ages between 12 through 19, the Holy Father, Pope Francis, exhorted them to be hopeful even if their dreams turn sour and all seems lost. Citing a passage from the Gospel of St. John, the pontiff urged them to have the courage of St. Peter when it comes to seeking Jesus. Coming from all dioceses of Italy, the children were accompanied by nuns, educators, and priests during the pilgrimage that carried the theme, "Follow Me," taken from the Gospel of St. John. Also present were members of the Italian Episcopate. Before the Pope arrived, award-winning Italian singing sensation Blanco enthralled the multitude with a host of other vocalists. Hell broke loose on the Ukrainian port city of Mariupol, said Marine commander defending the city in a letter written to Pope Francis, pleading for help. In the letter, Major Sergei Volina of the 36th Separate Marine Brigade mentioned that the besieged city is what hell on earth looks like. Volina, who professes to be an Orthodox Christian, said in the letter he believes in God and that light always overcomes darkness. In the letter, he said, quote, "I have not seen your appeals to the world, and I have not read all your recent statements. I have been fighting for more than 50 days, completely surrounded, and all I have time for is a fierce battle for every meter of the city that is surrounded by the enemy," end quote. The Marine said that women with children and babies are living in bunkers and they are hungry and cold, adding that those who are wounded die every day as there is no medicine, no water, and no food. He appealed to the Holy Father to help and bring the truth to the whole world. The Ukrainian Greek Catholic Major Archbishop has thanked all diplomatic missions and embassies for returning to Kyiv over the past 14 days. In his daily address, Major Archbishop Sviatoslav Shevchuk said that all those who have the courage to support the state come and teach Ukrainians and the world to strive for greatness. The top prelate stated his nation is still standing strong, including the city of Mariupol, which is the cynosure of the eyes of the world. Archbishop Shevchuk exhorted everyone to help defend the city, which is named after Our Lady. He also reflected on the 10th commandment, which says, quote, "Do not covet anything that is your neighbor," end quote. The prelate said that this commandment summarizes the 10 commandments and show where the root of sinfulness of human actions come from. The ancient pilgrim site of Santiago de Compostela in Spain, which houses the relics of the Apostle St. James the Great, is witnessing a record number of pilgrims. From the beginning of this year, as many as 25,400 pilgrims have visited the shrine, and it is the highest in the history of the pilgrimage in recent years. In fact, it is 30% more than the number of visitors in 2019 and the holy year of 2010. About 14,300 pilgrims arrived in the first half of April alone. Joining the pilgrims this year were the staunchly Catholic Belgian royalty King Philippe and his wife Mathilde, along with their 4 children, Elizabeth, Gabriel, Emmanuel, and Eleanor. The royals started their 70-kilometer pilgrim trail from Itero de la Vega on April 9th and concluded the journey at San Nicolas de Real Camino. It was a private trip without an entourage, although security personnel accompanied the royal family throughout the sojourn. Archbishop Charles Brown, the Apostolic Nuncio to the Philippines, has urged the Catholics to be careful of false narratives that are being spread ahead of the May 9th general elections. In his Easter Sunday homily, the Nuncio said, quote, "We need to speak the truth and shun all forms of falsehood. This is our duty as Christians, as believers of Christ, who himself is the truth," end quote. This comes after the Catholic bishops of the Asian nation came out with a pastoral letter on the anniversary of the People Power Revolution of 1986 that ousted dictator Ferdinand Marcos with the support of the Church. The prelate stressed the need to combat fake news circulating on social media platforms about Marcos, the father of presidential frontrunner Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., who is trying to portray the years of martial law as a golden era for the Philippines. Late in February, the bishop said in the pastoral letter, quote, "We are alarmed by this distortion of the truth of history and the attempt to delete or destroy our collective memory through the seeding of lies and false narratives," end quote. The Philippines, which has the third biggest Catholic population in the world, has set yet another record. According to the Vatican statistical yearbook, the nation witnessed the largest number of Catholic baptisms in 2020. It is estimated that 1.6 million baptisms took place in that year. In an interview with Radio Veritas, Apostolic Nuncio Archbishop Charles Brown said, quote, "I am glad to share that the Philippines has the highest number of baptisms in 2020 compared to other places in the world." He further stated that the country is, quote, "a living testament of faith in the 500 years of Catholicism," end quote. Trailing the Philippines is Mexico, which recorded 1.53 million baptisms in 2020, followed by Brazil with 1.12 million. The Filipino faithful are celebrating the 5th centenary of the arrival of the Christian faith in the country. Chronicles say that Father Pedro de Valderrama, the chaplain of explorer Ferdinand Magellan, performed the first set of baptisms in the Philippines on April 14, 1521, when 800 people, including local ruler Raha Humabon and his wife Humamay, embraced the faith. In Australia, Archbishop Anthony Fisher of Sydney has reiterated his opposition to the proposed euthanasia bill in New South Wales. Addressing believers during the Easter Sunday Mass at St. Mary's Cathedral, the prelate decried the bill passed by the Legislative Assembly and moved to the Legislative Council for further procedures. Bishop Anthony Fisher said, quote, "If Holy Week teaches us anything, it's that when pressured like this, we must consecrate ourselves to the truth, stick to the principles, and explain ourselves honestly, patiently, humbly, and compassionately," end quote. The statement came as the voluntary assisted dying bill nears the end of its legislative process in New South Wales, with debate expected to be wrapped up soon. The prelate has persistently decried the legislation, saying that more could be done to improve palliative care for the terminally ill in care homes instead of legalizing euthanasia. If passed, the bill will allow terminally ill patients who have less than 6 months to live to request euthanasia. Catholic Archbishop Ignatius Kaigma of Nigeria's Abuja Diocese has called upon the citizens of the West African country to fight against corruption, injustice, and violence plaguing the nation. During his Easter Sunday homily in Our Lady Queen of Nigeria Pro Cathedral in Abuja, Archbishop Kaigama urged political leaders to embrace humility and work for the interest of the people. Decrying the brutal killings, kidnappings, and violence in the country, the prelate said, quote, "Amidst the religious and political voices of hatred and violence, Muslims and Christians, whose Ramadan and Easter coincide this year again, should go beyond mutual courteous felicitations to be instruments of fostering social harmony and peaceful coexistence, speaking and acting against corruption, injustice, and greed, doing everything to overcome ethno-religious and socio-political hostilities," end quote. He further stated that Nigerians are in the habit of blaming political leadership, but forgetting that in their private lives, they violate God's laws and their neighbors' integrity and human rights. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us tomorrow. In the meantime, you can visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.